Meghalaya State Pollution Control Board Mspcb katanat rekam jaga Khuborjylla kabapet ya kajing bha bat jing yada ya kamei maryang na kajing penjat bat penjulor lakalong haka kambrat jabo kajing pom pathar ki ding kisit haka sngi arpun reu tarik nai wing kala Rakhe kerpang ya kajing yat lenti ka pasau puar Snem kabala penlong deka workshop ka bashi sngi ban batai halor kajing long jing man jaga maryang bat karukom trekam jaga board nadu balas sedang yaka ha State Convention Center. Hakani kejingelang lawan shimbentalang kinong penya jong ki karkhana do bilat nalum jaintia kinong penya jong ki factory industries ki badan hakaleng jaga Meghalaya lemat ki wei Khubor ki batrekam ki badan benta bat kame maryang. Hakani kejingelang ladan langru udi Sathiyan IFS Principal Chief Conservator Katanat Forest Kumukongsan bat ki he officer jong ka Mspcb bakan thop UR Naina Malay IFS Chairman jaga Mspcb u Dr. CH Shermang Member Secretary jaga Mspcb mar u Dr. Shantanu Das Regional Director jaga Central Pollution Control Board Shillong bat ki wei.
Thank you, sir. Like sir has already deliberated on the kind of pollution, and the most important topic today we are having for the first time we are having a panel discussion on river pollution, and we have invited all the 9 departments. We have received confirmation from the CEPWD roads. We have received confirmation from the GM of NHIDCL. We have received confirmation from sir who is from CPCB. He'll be there at 2:30. We have received confirmation from the scientists DMOF. Again, we have received confirmation from the social activists who will be joining us later. And then last but not the least, Sir Naba Bhattacharya, who is the technical advisor on many subjects to CM. So it would be a very interesting session in the afternoon. So I again request all of you to be present here so that we don't like to go like what I have just said. We don't like to go by penalty, by directions. We invite people, stakeholders that we sit in a common platform. We try to think what is the loophole, what is the gap in between us, so that these loopholes and gaps can be plugged and then we work together as towards the development of the state in a sustainable way. Otherwise, we never take pride on issuing direction, on imposing penalty, never. But then we are also answerable to the court, to the tribunal. So we will be answerable like when a judgment day will come, what have you done? We have to present something. We have to present something is by punishing you. So we have no other way. So, but don't give us that opportunity to punish you. Let us go hand by hand because always we can grow in a mutual way. Like whenever you have a problem, you come with a problem, then we will try to find together for a joint solution. So whenever you have a problem, you don't report to us and you don't apply for all the mandates, then we have no other options but to invoke the sections of the acts and the rules. So that should be the last option. It should never be the first option. So let us mean at this stage, whatever we have gathered here, it will take us as a way forward. How do we grow sustainably, economically? Because we have seen, because at the end of the day, what can be judged is not by what you have built, by what you have destroyed. You cannot build anything or develop anything at the cost of the environment. So everything has to go side by side. So that is our plight from the Pollution Control Board. So if I say the few of the achievements the board has achieved is, sir has already said, we have increased in the number of air monitoring stations, and we have increased in the number of water stations where we are being monitored. Like if I may bring it to your midst, we have a current OE in the NGT 673 of 2018, whereby the Honorable NGT has categorized 5 priorities of river pollution, and we find our rivers in priority 1, which is Umkhra and Mspcb, and then we find it at priority 4 and priority 5. So all of these rivers are being monitored, and we have in place at the state level a river rejuvenation committee. So this committee monitors all the progress, the advancement or whatever approach we have made in the right way. So this committee will always monitor and examine, and we send our report to the Ministry of Jal Shakti. So at times we see that our performance are good at 4 and 5, whereby at some point of time our river like Mentadu River, Khuborjylla has been delisted from 4 and then we have gone into the 5. It means the higher you go, the cleaner is your river. The lower you go, the polluted is your river. So like I say, Mspcb and are being placed at category 1. So, so we are also expanding air, promoting public awareness, workshops, and then supporting government initiatives in environmental planning, eco-restoration, and pollution control technologies. As you know that our duty is to, as per section 17(1)(a) of the Water Act, our duty, we are to advise the government. But unless we do a lot of research, a lot of work, a lot of dedication, how can we advise the government? Because advising the government could be the most dangerous thing. One wrong advice will land in trouble. So before we have to plan or offer any other advice to the government, we should be very sure of what we are doing. Otherwise, it will backlash us. So that is the most important duty and of the State Pollution Control Board. See, this achievement would have not been possible without the dedication of the officers, scientists, staff, and the cooperation of the communities, institutions, and government departments. So what lies ahead? I'm just trying to see what lies ahead, challenges ahead. Challenges ahead means why do we want to have this panel discussion? Because we want to hear from all angles, from the civil society, from the stakeholders, so that we see how do we go for a way forward. So that's why I say challenges ahead. What we see from the State Pollution Board, what are the challenges lying ahead? First of all is urbanization, increasing in pressure on water, waste and air quality. As you see that river pollution happens not only because of one reason. Here we have a reason here in Shillong being the urban area. The number one contributor is the untreated sewage being discharged directly into the river. So that we have a sewage. And then if we see in some other parts of the state, we see that river is being polluted by AMD, acid mine drainage. So not that the same thing is responsible.
42 or 43 years back, the board was established with a mission to safeguard the pristine environment of our state. Since then, the Meghalaya State Pollution Control Board has been at the forefront of monitoring, regulating and guiding environmental governance in our state. And the Chairman Pollution Control Board in his talk has explained the various initiatives as well as the significant achievements that have been made possible by the stewardship of the Meghalaya State Pollution Control Board in the previous years. And the Member Secretary also has narrated some of the significant achievements and the approaches that are being adopted by the Meghalaya State Pollution Control Board in tackling the problems of the day. If we see the way we have traveled since the inception, one significant thing I would like to highlight, we have seen that the regulatory landscape has widened. That means that has made the task has grown, the expectations have grown, the responsibilities have grown over the years. What started us with simple tasks like basic monitoring and ensuring compliance has now expanded to encompass diverse domains ranging from industrial emission, biomedical waste management, e-waste management, plastic regulation, and also some of the climate-related concerns. Each responsibility has demanded technical expertise, institutional coordination, and community engagement. In Meghalaya especially, the achievements, it would be a bit more difficult compared to other states. Achieving the same thing here would be a bit more difficult because of the special status and because of the challenges that are associated with the administration of the 6 schedule areas. And as a 6 schedule state, as you all know, our administrative framework is uniquely complex. With autonomous district councils, traditional institutions, and multiple layers of governance, which may not be there in other states. Aligning environmental regulations across these structures requires patience, dialogue, and consensus building. The chairman has highlighted that the main responsibility of the board is in the realm of regulation. But for us to achieve good results in the field, it has to be a kind of teamwork. Meghalaya State Pollution Control Board alone cannot be expected to provide the expected results. Every stakeholder has to play his role. At a personal level also, everybody should behave responsibility. There should be a behavioral change that should come in at a personal level and at a society, community level as well. And when we talk about the responsibilities at a personal level, like I may be feeling bad about some organization dumping waste at a place where it should not have been dumped. But at the same time, I may be very careless at my own home when I deal with my plastic waste. So it has to be a responsible action at all levels, which will give us the good results. And some of the current challenges, if we look at the pollution, industrial pollution, and we have one city, non-compliant city at Barneyhat, and Chairman was mentioning that it is now, the situation has improved a lot. Then another issue which we are facing now is pollution affecting streams, rivers and water sources. The Chairman has highlighted the efforts that are being made towards addressing this. Rising urbanization and vehicular emissions in Shillong and other towns, industrial expansion and its impact on air, water and soil quality, plastic pollution, urban waste management, biomedical waste management, and there are so many aspects in which we need to address the issue of pollution. And for all these things, the first step is a good understanding, a research backup, and the Member Secretary has highlighted on that. And that is the very reason why, as part of this Foundation Day, the Meghalaya State Pollution Control Board.
For its objectives is to prevent and control water pollution, to maintain and restore wholesomeness of water bodies, to establish CPCB and SPCBs for water quality monitoring, to regulate discharge of sewage and trade effluents. The important provisions of this Act, we have section 3 to 12, Constitution, powers and functions of the CPCB and SPCB. Section 17, functions of SPCB include consent management, monitoring, inspections, etc. Section 18, power of central government to issue directions. Section 24, prohibition of disposal of polluting matter into streams and wells. Section 25 and 26, prior consent requirement before establishing any outlet discharge. Section 32, emergency provisions, emergency measures. Section 33A, power to issue directions, closure, regulation. The next page, please. We have penalties, imprisonment 1.5 to 6 years for violations of the Act, higher penalties for continued non-compliance. We also have section 41 onwards, under which the pollution control boards are empowered to file complaints and courts if they do not comply to the directions issued by the board. Okay, recently there has been an amendment in the Water Act of 1974, and this, the state government has adopted it and we can enforce it. So I'm going to go through it, the main amendments. In fact, these are the amendments. Section 4 updated the manner of appointment of SPCB chairperson. Under the amendment, the central government prescribes the manner. Earlier, it was the state government that prescribed the manner for the appointment of the chairman, but now it is the central government. Section 5 expands the role of the central government in prescribing service conditions for SPCB chairperson. So this also, earlier it was the state government and now it is the central government. Section 25. This is the restriction on new outlets, new discharge provision. The amendment introduces a proviso. The central government, in consultation with the Central Pollution Control Board, can exempt certain classes of industrial plants from this requirement. Earlier it was the state. Section 27A. The amendment inserts a new section, that is Section 27A, which empowers the central government to issue guidelines in consultation with CPCB for how state boards should grant, refuse, or cancel consent to establish or consent to operate. This we had heard earlier when Sandru had given to us. Penalty and offences. Many minor technical offences have been decriminalized. Instead of imprisonment, most contraventions now attract monetary penalties. Penalty amounts. The revised penalty range is Rs 10,000 to Rs 15 lakh for many violations. Continuing contravention. For ongoing non-compliance daily, there is a provision for daily penalty. Adjudication. Instead of criminal prosecution, the Act now provides for an adjudicating officer, not below the rank of a joint secretary to center or secretary to state, to conduct inquiries and impose penalties. We can say that they are exercising now quasi-judicial power. Crediting penalties. Penalties collected under the amended Act are to be credited to the Environment Protection Fund, set up under the Environment Protection Act 1986. Offences by government departments. If a government department commits a contravention, the head of department may be liable to pay a penalty equal to 1 month's salary, basic salary, if due diligence is not proven. Territorial adoption. The Amendment Act applies immediately to some state union territories, but other states may need to adopt the amendment via a resolution. Meghalaya has already adopted this amendment. Now the Air Act also, there is the amendment which the state government has not yet adopted it. So we have to wait for the adoption by the state government so that we can enforce the amendment. The provisions are more or less the same in the Air Act, in which we require the industries, they require a consent from the board. Then the SPCB monitors and regulates, balances its function, the function of the industries, so as the pollution doesn't cause a degradation to the environment as a whole, by issuing a consent and monitoring it from time to time. And in case of violation, if we see any violation, we issue directions first. If the directions are not followed, we are compelled to file the case. Because when it is so blatant, we are being questioned. And plus now there is the NGT. We do not wish to file cases. It's not a nice thing. In the earlier decades, it was not nice. It was very toxic to say that the matter has gone up to the court, isn't it? Because the industries and us, the SPCBs, we have been shouldered with to perform, to balance industrial development to balance the protection with the protection of the environment. So it's like we have been shouldered with sustainable development upon our shoulders. It's like we bridge, we have to control and monitor. So we have to coordinate together, and it's not nice for us to file a case. We don't like it, but sometimes we are compelled to do it, especially with the directions of the cases pending in the GT. So we also have